بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Welcome in our weekly lesson from عمدة الأحكام من كلام خير الأنام للإمام عبد الغني المقدسي. And in this book it combines the Sahih Hadith in Bukhari and Muslim that covers all the rules, all the ahkams of fiqh. And we stopped last time on the chapter of Babu Istiqbal al-Qibla, meaning the facing the Qibla. And al-Qibla is the place that the person directs his face toward it. And as we know, facing the Qibla is one of the conditions of correctness of Salah. And when you talk about the differences between the condition of Salah and the pillars of Salah, just to remind you, both of them are compulsory. Both of them are, if you do not fulfill them, the Salah will be invalid. But the differences between the condition, which is the shart, and the pillar, which is the rukn, is the shart is outside the Salah. So any requirement outside the Salah, it's called shart or condition. But if any requirement inside the Salah, it's called pillars or rukn. So before you start Salah, you have to have a wudu or cleanness, and also you should face the Qibla in the compulsory Salah, or also you should also wearing a clothes covering your awra and a clean place and a clean clothes. So when we're talking about facing the Qibla, it is a condition because it is outside Salah. And the Qibla direction is towards Al-Kaaba. And the Kaaba is the first house Allah established for the people. And the Kaaba was the Qibla of all the prophets. And every prophet and every believer used to face the direction of the Kaaba. But when then the deviation happened between or inside the Jewish and the Christian books, they started to direct to Baytul Maqdis and Al-Aqsa on Jerusalem, and then they deviated their religion. And in our deen, Allah commanded the Muslim to face the Qibla after migration to Medina with about 16 months. And previously, Prophet Muhammad directed toward the Baytul Maqdis, and he was hoping that he commanded to face toward the Kaaba, and he used to move his face to the sky, to the heaven, to ask Allah about that. And there are some conditions where the Qibla, facing the Qibla, is not compulsory. First one is the ajiz, disabled person who are not able to face the Qibla because of the sickness or because of the something happened. He isolated in a place where he cannot face the Qibla, or any bad action. And we have to remember, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah will not burden a soul over its capacity. And also فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم, and fear Allah as you can. So the first excuse a person from facing Qibla is al-ajiz or al-ajz. Then we have the second excuse is the furnace, especially in Salatul Khawfi, the furnace prayer in the battle in the war. And this will make a necessary for not facing the Qibla. And then also one of the excuses for not facing the Qibla is traveling. In travel, you can pray the nafl, the voluntary salah, while you are not facing the Qibla. It's not compulsory for that. And listen to the hadith. حديث عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يسبح على ظهر راحلته حيث كانت وجهه حيث كان وجهه يؤمن برأسه وكان ابن عمر يفعل وفي رواية كان يوتر على بعيره ولمسلم غير أنه لا يصلي على المكتوبة وللبخاري إلا الفرائض. In this hadith, Abdullah ibn Umar mentioned, and when the Sahabi described an action of Prophet, that means that it is a hadith marfu', because it's one of the sunnah, is a sunnah al-fi'liya, or the action of Prophet. So Abdullah ibn Umar mentioned that the Prophet Muhammad used to say tasbih, or praise Allah Azza wa Jal in the back of his camel, and this is indication that praying. So because during the praying there is tasbih, Subhan Rabbiyal Azim, Subhan Rabbiyal. So we can express on the salah by tasbih. So you can express of the total by individual part of the total. So also he said that his face, he was praying on the back of his camel, and his face, when he used to move his face without facing the Qibla. And also Abdullah ibn Umar used to do that. Abdullah ibn Umar used to, and then Abdullah ibn Umar used to do that, and he used also to do witr salah on ba'ir, on a camel. So it is another riwayah, and also in Muslim he used to pray only the voluntary, not the compulsory. And then in the Bukhari also he used to do that except the compulsory. And also Prophet Muhammad was traveling on Dhuhr Salah, and he went to his camel, and he saw people praying after Salah, and he said, what about these people? They said the yusabbihun, means they pray nafla. And he said, if I was to pray, I will complete the salah. Mean that and during the traveling it is not recommended to do the nafl, as Prophet Muhammad said. If I was to pray, I would complete the salah, because in the travel there is a shortened salah. So the voluntary salah in travel will be shorting. So that means that the nafl is not recommended to pray the nafl during the salah. However, if you pray, it also will be rewarded, inshallah. And then if we go to next hadith عن عبد الله بن عمر قال بينما الناس بقباء في صلاة الصبح إذ جاءهم آت فقال إن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد أنزل عليه الليلة قرآن وقد أمر أن يستقبل الكعبة فاستقبلوها وكانت وجوههم إلى الشام فاستداروا إلى الكعبة. Here this hadith shows the time of changing the Qibla, the time when the Sahaba was praying in this narration, Salatul Subhi, the Subh prayer in Masjid Qiba. And one Sahabi came and said to them while they are inside the Salah, the Quran has been revealed this night that there is a command to face the Kaaba, so face the Kaaba. And on this time they are facing the Al-Aqsa, to the Sham, and then they turn back to the opposite side towards the Kaaba. And from this hadith also we can see that the Sahaba, how they accept directly without asking why, and this was in the Salah. So also it shows that moving Salah for the benefit of Salah will not break the Salah. So again, movement inside the Salah for the benefit of Salah will not break Salah. And also we can take a benefit from this hadith, that Khabar al-Ahad, the narration of a single narrator, is one of the Ahkam, or one of the sources in the fiqh or in the Ahkam, because as you can see in the hadith, the Sahaba accept the narration of one person and they don't ask tawatur, means multi narrators. So this is khabar al-ahad. Then he mentioned المصنف this hadith أنس بن سيرين قال استقبلنا أنس حين قدم من المدينة فلقيناه بعين التمر فرأيته يصلي على حمار ووجهه من ذا الجانب، يعني عن يسار القبلة. قلت رأيتك تصلي لغير القبلة. فقال لولا أني رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يفعله ما فعلته. Anas ibn Sirin is one of the tabi'een, and he's a brother of the very famous scholar Muhammad ibn Sirin, and most of us know that he had a skill. He has a skill in explanation of dreams. It's not only he's also one of the muhaddithin. And in this hadith, Anas ibn Sirin mentioned that they went to see Anas ibn Malik, the servant of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he came from Sham, and they met him on a place called Ain al-Tamri. And Ain al-Tamri, the eye of date, in a village in Iraq, near to Al-Basra. And he saw him praying toward on the donkey, and he's facing from this side, on the left side of the Qibla. And because in this place the Qibla was to the south and it should be on the right, so his face was to the left, means it is not the same direction of the Qibla. Then he asked him, and here is the importance of asking about the deen. Muhammad ibn Sirin, or Anas ibn Sirin, asked Anas ibn Malik and said to him, I saw you pray toward a direction other than the Qibla. And then Anas, he's not criticizing Anas, but he just asked for explanation and to understand, because Anas ibn Malik is a Sahabi and Ibn Sirin is a Tabi'i, and the Sahabi has more knowledge than the Tabi'i. So, and Anas explained to him, he didn't do that from himself by his mind, but because he said, because I saw Prophet Muhammad did that, other than that, otherwise I will not do it. And this also showed from the hadith that we can we can pray toward the other side of the Qibla in case of nafl. Then the next chapter about the lines, Bab al-Sufufi, the line in Salah. And the lines is one of the character of this ummah, and Allah Azza wa Jal granted this ummah this arrangement in Salah, and also granted them arrangement in the jihad. So there is special arrangement, special lining for the Salah in Salat al-Jama'ah, and also special lining in jihad as well. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explained that in hadith, ألا تصفون كما تصف الملائكة عند ربي. Should you line up like the malaika line up on their Lord? And then قالوا يا رسول الله كيف تصف الملائكة عند ربها قال يتراصون ويكملون الأول فالأول. So they asked, oh Prophet, how is the malaika, the angel, line up in their Lord? He said, it is lying straight in the line, straight into each other, and complete first to and then the first, mean to fill the gaps. Then the Musannif mentions this hadith, Anas ibn Malik رضي الله عنه أنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سووا صفوفكم فإن تسوية الصفوف من تمام الصلاة. Straighten your line, because indeed the straighten the line is from completion of Salah. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he mentioned سووا صفوفكم, means straighten your line, it should have different meanings. First, mean don't deviate from the straight line. It should be straight, not deviated line. Or it could be without having a furja or a gap, and also should have complete the first line and then to the next one. And you can combine these three to have the correct straightening of the line. And the reason of straightening the line is to make the salah complete. And completeness here means that complete reward, complete benefit. However, and this is the qawl ahlul ilmi, that the straightening the line is a sunnah, not an obligation. Then he said another hadith, حديث النعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لتسون صفوفكم أو ليخالفن الله بين وجوهكم. So should you straighten your line, otherwise Allah will dispute between your faces, means bring dispute and conflict between each one. And ولمسلم كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يسوي صفوفنا حتى كأنما يسوي بها القداح حتى رأى أن قد عقلنا عنه ثم خرج يوما فقام حتى كاد أن يكبر فرأى رجلا باديا صدره من الصف فقال عباد الله لتسون صفوفكم أو ليخالفن الله بين وجوهكم. So in this hadith, Prophet Muhammad used to straighten our lines, so it like the person who designed the arch or the arrow. When he designed the arrow, he put the arrows together to each other to make it in the same line, or so the same here. And one day he saw someone, his chest is exceeding the line, and he said, "O slave of Allah, straighten your line, otherwise Allah will dispute between your face." So next hadith Anas ibn Malik and his grandmother Mulaika. عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أنه قال أن جدته مليكة دعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لطعام صنعته له فأكل منه ثم قال قوموا فلأصلي لكم. قال أنس فقمت إلى حصير لنا قد اسود من طول ما لبس فنضفته بماء فقام عليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وصففت أنا واليتيم وراءه والعجوز من ورائنا فصلى لنا ركعتين ثم انصرف. So in this hadith, Anas ibn Malik is one of the Sahaba, as we just mentioned, who was a servant for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and his grandmother Mulaika invited Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, invited him for a food, and as a kind of appreciation from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to this invitation, he asked them to pray for in their house as a kind of appreciation, or as a kind of bringing the blessing and the rahm and the barakah to the house. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him to pray there, and then Anas ibn Malik bring like a prayer mat, an old one. It was black because it is not used for a long time. So he sprinkled with water, so to make it soft. And then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stand, and he said he stand, and the yatim, one of the orphan boy, used to stay with them. This was behind Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then the old woman Mulaika was in the back. Then he prayed 2 rak'at, and then he left. So as you can see, the lining, in case of having male and female, the male will be on the first line and the female in the back. Even the male is a young boy. And this yatim, or the orphan, his name is Dumayra, and Dumayra is the grandfather of Al-Hussein ibn Abdullah ibn Dumayra. So this yatim, or this orphan, his name is Dumayra. And Mulaika, as we mentioned, is the grandfather of Anas radiallahu anhu. The next hadith, another Sahabi with another relative as well. So the previous one was Anas ibn Malik and his grandfather. And the next one, Abdullah ibn Abbas and his auntie, Maymuna. And Abdullah ibn Abbas was a cousin of Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. عن عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله عنه قال: بت عند خالتي ميمونة فقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي من الليل فكنت عن يساره فأخذ برأسي فأقامني عن يمينه. So in this hadith that he slept in the house, Abdullah ibn Abbas slept in the house of his auntie Maymuna, and then he notes that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wake up on the night, and he prayed, and then Anas ibn Malik, Abdullah ibn Abbas joined him, but he stand on the left hand side. Then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam took his head and moved to be on his right. So this hadith first showed that how is the lining in case of Imam and one Ma'mun. It is recommended, it is preferable to be on the right side. However, if he stand on the left, the salah is valid, but not from Sunnah. And then we can see also that it's lawful to stay in the mahrim houses. And mahrim here, the Maymuna, which is the auntie of Abdullah ibn Abbas, so he can sleep in her mahrim house. طيب. Next hadith, hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, about this chapter, Bab al-Imama, the Imama chapter. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: أما يخشى الذي يرفع رأسه قبل الإمام أن يحول الله رأسه رأس حمار أو يجعل الله صورته صورة حمار. Should the person who raise his head before the Imam should fear that Allah may convert his head to the head of a donkey, or Allah change his face or his picture to the picture of a donkey. And here is this example is Prophet ﷺ give it just to show the dangerous of moving of the dangerous of raising or exceeding the Imam before the Imam finish the Salah, or before the Imam finish the action. So then here we can explain also the mas'ala of exceeding the Imam. So exceeding the Imam is haram, is prohibited by ijma'. And some scholar mentions that exceeding the Imam deliberately make the Salah as invalid, which is a mashhur madhab Imam Ahmed, and this is the famous madhab of Imam Ahmed. However, the Jumhur ulama said that it will not make the Salah valid, and if it happened even deliberately, it is a kind of mistake, and the mistake would be correctness. And however, the Hanabila mentioned that it's only in forgetfulness, but if someone deliberately do that, however, the majority of the scholar mentions that if someone exceed the Imam in the Salah is still valid. And here is the wa'id, the warning from Allah Azza wa Jal for the person that to show the dangerous on the serious of this action, that Allah may change the the head of this person to be like a head of donkey. However, there is no evidence that shows that it happened with someone else before, and this could be a non-physical warming. And then we mention, or the Musannif mentioned, another hadith about how the Imam, or how the Ma'mum, the follower, should follow the Imam. حديث أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إنما جعل الإمام ليؤتم به فلا تختلفوا عليه فإذا كبر فكبروا وإذا ركع فركعوا وإذا قال سمع الله لمن حمده فقولوا اللهم ربنا لك الحمد فإذا سجد فاسجدوا وإذا صلى جالسا فصلوا جلوسا أجمعون. So in this hadith, Abdullah ibn Huraira said that the Imam has been made to be followed, so do not dispute on him. If he says Allahu Akbar, say Allahu Akbar, and if he does a ruku', so do a ruku'. And if he said سمع الله لمن حمده, said Allahumma rabbana lakal hamd, and if he did a sujood, and then do a sujood, and if he prayed sitting, so pray sitting ajma'un, or all together. However, in this hadith, the last point of this one showed that if you prayed, if the Imam prayed in sitting, and the follower should pray in sitting. However, this was at the beginning, but has been updated before the passed away of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the last few days of before he passed away, he went out to the masjid to pray, and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was leading the salah, and then he stepped back, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the front, and he sat and he prayed sitting, and then Abu Bakr was praying standing, and the Sahaba is standing. So the final update of that, with the Imam praying by sitting, the Musallin pray normally if they can. Then we have another hadith, حديث البراء بن عازب أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا سجد لم يحن أحد منا ظهره. أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا سجد لم يحن أحد منا ظهره حتى يقع النبي ساجدا ثم نقع سجودا بعده. البراء بن عازب also described the way of following of the Imam, especially after ruku' and before going to sujood. And the Sahaba used to wait before Prophet Muhammad went to sujood, and they not bent their back until Prophet Muhammad went to sujood, and then they go after him. And this is very important for not exceeding the Imam in a salah. Then hadith عبد الله بن يزيد الخطمي الأنصاري رضي الله عنه قال حدثني البراء وهو غير كذوب قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا قال سمع الله لمن حمده لم يحن أحد منا ظهره حتى يقع رسول الله سجدا ثم نقع سجودا بعده. So this is the same hadith just mentioned, but in details. And then next hadith عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا أمن الإمام فأمنوا فإنه من وافق تأمينه تأمين الملائكة غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. So if the Imam said Ameen, so say Ameen. So if there is a synchronization between the ta'meem of Imam and ta'meem of Ma'moom, the ta'meem of the Ma'moom and the ta'meem of the Malaika, Allah will forgive the previous sins of him. And also حديث أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا صلى أحدكم للناس فليخفف فإن فيهم الضعيف والسقيم وذا الحاجة وإذا صلى أحدكم لنفسه فليطيل ما يشاء. Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم explained in this hadith, if someone prayed for the people, means prayed as the Imam, so make it a light for them, because they have some weak people and some sick people and some people having needs. So, but if you pray alone for yourself, so you can increase it as much as you can. Then next to the hadith, this is the hadith is أبو مسعود الأنصاري البدري قال جاء رجل إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال إني لأتأخر عن صلاة الصبح من أجل فلان مما يطيل بنا. فقال فما رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم غضب في موعظة قط أشد مما غضب يومئذ. فقال يا أيها الناس إن منكم منفرين فأيكم أما الناس فليوجز فإن من ورائه الكبير والصغير وذا الحاجة. So Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari mentioned that one man came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that I used to delay for praying the subh salah because the imam of the salah used to make the salah longer. So then he said that I never saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam anger in a maw'izah, giving an advice before like this time. And he said, all the people, some of you make the people escaping from the salah, and anyone who leads the salah, make it easy for them because they have behind him the elder and the young and the one with their needs. And here we need to stop to have this mas'alah. We have some ahadith mentions that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, especially in Fajr Salah, used to read by 50 and 60 ayahs, and the Sahaba after fin Salah they can see each other in the light of the day. And in this hadith, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explained that if someone leads a Salah, he shouldn't make it long. So we need to set up a rule of that, or set up a system of that. So in this system, it depends on the circumstances of the people. So sometimes there is some masjid on the way of the routes. The people come, pray and go. It is not commonly used the masjid by the people around. So in this case, the Imam should take care about that, so the people will come, need to pray and go to the next destination. So he need to make it light as much as can. But if there is a masjid, the people already happy with this system and familiar with that, and there is no complaint of that. In this case, if there is agreement between the people of the masjid, in this case, the Imam can follow the sunnah in making the salah long. Another hadith, if you know about the story of Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu. Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu used to pray Isha with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam behind him as a ma'moom, and then when he returned to his people, he lead for them Isha. And one night he recited along the surah, some narration mentions Surah Al-Baqarah, and there is a one person has a farm, was praying behind him, and he left his cow moving in a machine that water or bring water to the farm, the land, and he set a time to finish in a certain time, and because Mu'adh ibn Jabal makes the salah long, and he left the salah, and means left salah means do what's called mufaraqa. He prayed, complete the salah alone and prayed, and then he left, and then he went to Prophet Muhammad sallam to complain him about Mu'adh, and he bring Mu'adh, and he was very upset from that, and he said sakalakta ummuk, may your mom lost you. This kind of wording used to in Arab to say to each other in case of upsetting from someone. And then he said, afattanun anta ya Mu'adh, are you a person who brings fitna? And then this is because there is a circumstances, and also Mu'adh bin Jabal make it longer as more than usual. But as we mentioned, if there is a system or agreement between the people of the masjid about increasing the salah length, this is not a problem at all. So I think we finish this task of tonight's lesson, and next time inshallah we start the ninth lesson from Umdat Ahkam, which is Sifat Salatul Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, description of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam salah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.